My name is Vishwanath Ekbote. I'm director of Linkwell Telesystems, Hyderabad, India. Vision Tech is the brand name of the products that are made by us. I'll quickly run through the introduction about my company and what products we do. Then we have a look at what financial inclusion is and how what it means to people in India. And finally, I'll give you a snapshot of the financial transaction projects that we did or that we participated in India and how they were success. So I hope this will be useful information for all the participants here. And as we all know, India is a growing economy, and the kind of diversity and complexity that is there in India is hard to match anywhere. And we are of the firm belief that if we have been able to do something well in India, it's very easy to replicate in any part of the world. India is not a country, but it's more of a continent with multiple languages, multiple habits, and people from different regions. This is the topic I'm going to talk about, financial inclusion in India and our experience in the same. We are a company that's about 20 years old. We have about 600 people working for us, of which 150 are in R&D. Our turnover is about 30 million US dollars. And we are a manufacturer exporter, and our products are being sold in about 35 countries worldwide, including about 18 to 20 in Africa itself. And we've been in Africa for more than 10 years now, and we know the terrain fairly well, and we are confident that whatever new products we have or solutions we have will be quite relevant and successful in this country as well. These are the manufacturing facilities that we have. We have fully automated SMT line with test labs. And that's how we bring quality products that are affordable and withstand the vigors of time and abuse. Now, coming to the topic, the one thing that stands out is for banks to go to the unbanked areas or to have more branches in rural areas. It's a challenge because it's not only expensive, but also because of low transaction values and low volume of transactions, the operations become unviable. So therefore, the agency banking model is something that has become very prevalent, and we have a POS terminal which is the centerpiece of the financial inclusion projects that are there in India. To give a brief summary, about 41% of the Indian population unbanked, which is about, the Indian population is about more than 1 billion, so you can imagine the number of people who are unbanked, of which only 14% of the adult population have loan accounts. And of the 203 million households, 33% of the farm households do not have any access to formal sources of credit. This gives rise to informal financing methods or the money lenders who have usurious interest rates, leading to poverty and suicides from the borrowers because they are unable to pay the high rates of interest. So the government of India has launched the financial inclusion project more than 10 years back, but it is in the last 4 or 5 years or so that more and more interest has been generated in this area, and a number of banks and other agencies have started working on this seriously, not with a motive of profit, but with a service intention. In India, there has been a unique feature called Aadhar project, which basically enrolls all its citizens as a proof of identity, where the biometrics of the individual are captured along with their address and other family details. So this Aadhar card forms the basic foundation of the financial inclusion project and any of the government-led initiatives for social transformation or uplifting the weaker sections of the society. The very name Aadhar means foundation. Aadhar is a Hindi word which means foundation in English. So therefore, the Aadhar card is the foundation of any financial transaction that happens for financial inclusion. Well, this again is something that is very well known. It increases the deposit base, earnings from loan disbursements, enables micro insurance, money transfers, and so on. And most importantly, the way the government is focused on the financial inclusion project is to be able to disburse all its government benefits to the rural poor. And it is a well-known fact in India that out of the 100 rupees that is meant to be disbursed to the beneficiaries, only 16 rupees reaches the intended beneficiary, which means 84 rupees is pilfered or lost in the system. So it is this very objective that the government wants to ensure that the full amount is credited to the beneficiaries. They have come out with these different ways of disbursement. This again is a well-known fact. Now, coming back to the financial inclusion ecosystem, as you can see, you have operators or operators are the telecom operators, the banks, then there are banking correspondents or agents, then there are system integrators and financial switch operators, and then ultimately there are the end users or the beneficiaries. In all these things, we form a central role because our terminal is the customer touch point, is a last mile connectivity tool, and this is a single dedicated device that enables the user or the banking correspondent to do what is called KYC, know your customer, which is enrollment of the beneficiaries, eKYC to verify his proof of identity. Then they can also obviously do the banking transactions, the government enabled disbursements, and other value-added services that will earn that will help the banking correspondent or the agent to earn more money over and above whatever transaction fees he gets from the bank. Now, to make sure that all the above features are delivered and are in a compact manner, we have this point of sale terminal which has got a built-in camera, a biometric scanner to capture the photograph as well as the biometrics of the customer, a QWERTY keypad to key in the to address details and other information, a large screen where you can see the transactions, a printer for a printout of the transaction, and more importantly, we have an audio speaker there which reads out the transaction in the local language and confirms to the rural person who most probably is illiterate to know what transaction he has made in his own or her language, so that she is confident that she has not been cheated or something untoward has happened to her transaction. We have, again, as a hardware feature, contact and contactless card readers. And the most important is the GPRS connectivity with dual SIM. Now, whatever we do here, the cash is the ultimate tool. And Indians love the smell of cash, the touch and feel of cash. So I'm sure despite the technologies that are going to come, cash is never going to die in India. So it makes it that much more important to make sure that the transactions are secure and fail-safe. Now, some of the features of most of the financial inclusion products that the banks have for the rural masses is the customer creations. It's called a no-frills saving account, which can have zero balance. And the other transactions that they can do are cash deposit, withdrawal, loan disbursement. These are fairly standard. Funds transfer is something that is gaining a lot of popularity here. And of course, a mini statement of whatever transactions they have made, because the banking correspondent might come visiting them once in a fortnight or once a month. A mini statement will give them an idea of how much they have spent, how much is there in bank balance, and so on. Now, apart from the standard banking transactions that we spoke about, the other value-added services which many of the banks are relying upon are the mobile recharge from various operators. Then they sell a lot of products, which essentially are micro-insurance, loans. Then there are other disbursement schemes such as scholarships, pensions, where the government transfers the cash or the money to the account of the beneficiary, which is a student, through which he can pay his college fees or hostel fees or whatever. And the pensions are disbursed through these accounts to the people in villages. It could be an old age pension, or it can be a widow pension or whatever. So these things all happen electronically, and the services are delivered to the doorstep of the consumer. Over and above it, there are other value-added services which are post-paid bill payments or utility bill payments, where the banking correspondent can earn some additional revenue. This fundamentally is an ecosystem with all the switches and transactions and so on. Again, the benefits of branchless banking are very evident, and I would like to say here that we have done a number of financial inclusion projects in India. We work with a large number of system integrators and banks, And they are quite happy with the kind of services that we provide, because the POS terminal is the most important tool to enable a transaction, and if it works regularly and without any interruptions, the whole financial inclusion model will be successful. Some of the examples here are the micro ATM, which is a device which has all these features. This is the carry case and the various accessories that the guy puts in his bag and goes to villages, either in a bus or in a boat or on a rickshaw or on a cycle. And the terminal withstands the rigors of such misuse or abuse. This is another example we did for a bank called Union Bank of India in eastern part of the country. This is again a microfinance application that we have done for a couple of banks in India. We have done a microfinance project in Ethiopia recently, and we have done a few microfinance projects that have been funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And we do work with a lot of microfinance agencies and UN organizations to make sure that the intended project outcomes are achieved by the agencies. This is the Aadhar authentication that we talked about earlier on. This again is a very important thing, Aadhar-based gas cylinder distribution. The LPG gas or the cooking gas in India is highly subsidized. The differential between the government-sponsored cylinder and the open market cylinder is almost 4 times. So there's a lot of scope for misuse of these gas cylinders for commercial use. Most of the cylinders meant for household use are diverted to hotels and other establishments. So the government has come out with a scheme where the households are given about 9 cylinders in a year at a subsidized rate. Over and above, they would have to buy it at the market rates. And the gas cylinders are delivered, and the authenticity of the consumer is authenticated by use of the Aadhar card, and the POS terminal issues out a receipt. Simultaneously, the gas company knows that the cylinder has been delivered to so-and-so, and his fingerprints have already been taken and authenticated. It sounds pretty silly why someone should go to this extent for mere gas distribution. But then the kind of diversion that takes place in this field is something close to about $2.5 billion every year. And that's no small change, and if it can be brought into the regular use, that's the amount of money the government will have to spend on other social schemes. The other important factor where the e-governance scheme for using our terminals is what is called a public distribution system, where the government gives out commodities and essentials to the rural sections of the society, and they have been given a card and certain quota of wheat, rice, sugar that they can buy everyone. But this again gets diverted into the black market and sold off at market rates, and the shopkeepers make a killing. To ensure that the households get the rations that they truly deserve without any diversion, the biometrics is again used on a POS terminal, where the biometrics of the householder are captured and authenticated before the commodities are disturbed. This again helps in reducing and checking pilferage. Then we have loan collection, installment collection on using our POS terminals. These are the 3 terminals that we have been talking about, and we have a stall here next door where we are all invited to come and have a look at it, and we will be happy to explain the features of the devices to you. And why our devices is because it's one integrated unit. There are people who use a combination of PCs and other devices or mobile phones bundled with other devices. The key benefit is the ruggedness and the robustness of the device, a long life cycle, as well as ease of portability and use of a single handheld device. These are some of the receipts of the various transactions that take place on our devices. These are again some examples of various solutions that are possible. Incidentally, Airtel is one customer where they use our terminals for Airtel Money, and we have integrated the mobile money platforms of various operators across Africa. So we are quite adept at doing this. This is in Ghana, where these terminals are being used for collection of taxes from the shopkeepers.